A very good evening and welcome to the national broadcast. I'm Mausha Dharmavardhana.
Good evening, I'm Clifford Richards. First of all, we take a look at the headlines. The Attorney General approves the health guidelines draft concerning the parliamentary election. The President invites local engineers to take part in a revolutionary transformation in the construction sector, which fulfills the needs of the population. PCR tests confirm that the 116 Kandakadu visitors and their family members have not contracted COVID-19. A 5-member committee appointed upon the instructions of the Premier to inquire into damages caused to an archaeological monument in Kurunagala. And now we start with our top story. The Attorney General has approved in writing the health guidelines draft concerning the parliamentary election. Coordinating Officer of the Attorney General, Senior State Counsel Nishara Jayaratna explained that the draft relevant to the said regulations have been presented with regard to candidates pertaining to election rallies and propaganda activity, and also concerning the election officers of the candidates. She further stated that approval was given by the Attorney General in writing yesterday, and the Secretary of the Health Ministry was notified of the same. Postal voting for 2020 parliamentary election took place for the 5th day today. Postal voting was underway under 3 stages, and today's postal voting process was part of the 3rd stage. Postal voting is underway adhering to health guidelines due to the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. All police, strike forces and civil security personnel, health sector and divisional secretariat and election secretariat officers cast their postal votes yesterday and today. Chairman of the Elections Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, said that it can be assumed that over 80% of postal votes have been cast, and he notes that the incidents of election violence have not been reported. He reminded the postal voters that on the 20th and 21st of this month, postal votes need to be cast at the relevant kachari of the voters' respective division. Meanwhile, a special discussion between Chairman of the Elections Commission and political party representatives took place at the Elections Secretariat at Rajagiri today. Speaking at the media briefing after the discussion, the chairman said that they discussed the time to commence the counting of votes and the expected time when the results can be issued. He further stated that it was also discussed regarding the number of counting agents, and also it was agreed to enable the entry of 2 representatives per political party into the premises where ballot boxes are received. He also stated that the manner in which the ballot boxes will be securely stored overnight will also be discussed and agreed upon.
Meanwhile, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa invites local engineers to take part in a revolutionary transformation in the construction sector, which will fulfill the needs of the urban and rural population. The President made these remarks during a meeting with the members of the Institution of Engineers Sri Lanka held at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. The engineers assured that they would shoulder the task of putting in place a local mechanism in the country, reciprocating the confidence placed in them by the President. The President said that he was deeply saddened regarding the current status of the State Engineering Corporation and the government workshop, and added that the responsibility of rebuilding these institutions better than before lies with the engineers. The President noted that the challenges faced by the country at present due to the COVID-19 crisis are 10 times greater than the challenges encountered when he took over the administration. The President also highlighted the importance of contribution of local construction companies and engineers in resolving the housing problem of low and middle income earners. The importance of renovating the tanks and irrigation system without damaging the original structure was also discussed. The President said that developing the economy means raising the living standards of the people, and a development plan should be drafted with the aim of achieving the target. Secretary to the President P.B. Jasundara, secretaries to ministries and heads of state and private institutions were also present at the discussion. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that people in many parts of the country suffer due to lack of water from drinking and irrigation purposes, as tanks and irrigation systems have nearly collapsed. He further stated that development of roads networks in rural areas should be expedited. He noted that development projects serve no purpose if they fail to meet the basic needs of people. The president pointed out that his assumption to office will also become futile if he is unable to deliver the primary needs of people of the country.
Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva states that PCR tests have confirmed that the 116 individuals who visited the inmates at the Kandakadu Drug Rehabilitation Center and 368 of their family members have not contracted COVID-19. Well, one of COVID-19 positive cases was detected in the country today. This individual had reportedly come in contact with COVID-19 contracted patient of the Kandakadu cluster detected from the Rajangane area. Director General of Health Services Consultant Dr. Anil Jasinghe said that it can be observed that currently the Kandakadu cluster is progressing towards a control situation, and therefore in the days ahead the situation will be brought under control. The number of fully recovered COVID-19 patients in the country currently stands at 2,012, and this is a percentage of 74.85. The number of patients undergoing further hospitalization treatment currently stands at 665, and this is 24.73%. The number of COVID-19 positive cases detected from Kandakadu cluster is 542, out of which 444 are inmates of the Kandakadu Treatment and Rehabilitation Center for Narcotics Addiction. 63 cases were reported from amongst the staff of the rehabilitation center, which includes instructors at the facility, whilst 5 cases were reported from amongst visiting instructors. Another 29 cases were identified from amongst persons who came in close contact with the Kandakadu cluster. Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva said that upon PCR test results received so far among the group of 386, neither of the individuals who visited the location nor their family members have contracted the virus. The Army Commander further stated that a condition in which the disease does not spread in the society through them still prevails. With the detection of a COVID-19 positive case from Athumalpitiya West area of Polonnaruwa, 30 persons who came in contact with the individual have been sent to quarantine. Their PCR tests will be reportedly carried out in the days ahead. Movements in the Rajangane area were restricted with the detection of a COVID-19 contracted individual from the area. Recently, our correspondent states that the essential commodities are being delivered to the residents of the area with the assistance of the authorities. Meanwhile, newly constructed Kilinochi Army Hospital was declared open by the Army Commander. Today, the hospital has been constructed by the 11th Engineering Division of the Army. The Army Commander engaged in an observational visit of the quarantine centers as well. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has instructed the Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, S.R. Artigala, to focus attention on the issues faced by the bank employees and take proper steps. The Premier made this comment at a discussion held with the officers of the Pragati Bank Employees Association regarding the present state of state banks today. President of the Pragati Bank Employees Association, Nishanta Samarasinghe, stated that in 2014, when the then President Mahinda Rajapaksa introduced a new pension scheme as a solution to the pensions issue faced by employees who joined the Bank of Ceylon, People's Bank and the National Savings Bank after 1996. He further stated that today they discussed on increasing the benefits of the pension scheme and expanding it to other state banks to cover employees who do not benefit by the scheme. He also stated that if they discussed on implementing the move speedily and how state banks can be operated in a more efficient and people-centric manner.
පාත්වාගෙන යන්නේ කොහොමද යන්න පිළිබඳවත් අපි අතිගරු මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා සමග සාකච්ඡා කළා. ඒ වගේම ඉතා ඉක්මනින්ම රටේ රාජ්‍ය බැංකුවල ණය පොලි අනුපාතය අඩු කරලා වඩා ඵලදායී සහ ජනතාවාදී බැංකු බවට පත් කර ගැනීමේ අවශ්‍යතාවය අපි තහවුරු කරා. එතුමන් ඒ පිළිබඳව ඉක්මනින් ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන බවත් අපට පවසා සිටියා.
The Prime Minister has appointed an intellectual committee to appoint an investigatory committee to inquire into the demolition of the Buaneka Hotel building at Kurunegala, which has a historical value. The Premier has instructed the Secretary to the Ministry of Cultural Affairs to speedily inquire into the damages caused to the building and submit a report. A specialist committee was appointed by the Secretary to the Ministry of Buddha Sasana and Cultural Affairs, Bandula Harishchandra, to inquire into damages caused to the archaeological site. The committee is headed by Director General of Archaeology, Professor Senrat Dissanayake, whilst the other members are Kurunegala District Secretary R.M.R. Ratnayake, Archaeologist P.G. Kulatunga, Deputy Director of the Ministry of Buddha Sasana and Cultural Affairs, Archaeologist Prasad Ranasinghe, and Director of the Central Cultural Fund, Sumedha Mahathoda. The Director General of Archaeology states that under the Archaeology Ordinance, the damaged building is regarded as a monument considered under archaeological conservation sites. The Prime Minister has instructed the Sri Lanka Tea Board to take steps within a week after a proper inquiry to recommence production at tea factories of the Central Province which have been suspended. The Premier gave this instruction at a discussion held at Temple Trees today to discuss a solution to the decision taken by tea factories to suspend production. Currently, 13 tea factories of the Central Province have suspended production. The tea factory owners state that the Tea Board took steps to suspend the production of their factories without a proper investigation, resulting in around 100,000 workers being inconvenienced. The Premier further stated that stern legal action should be taken against illegal forms of tea production that take place in the tea factories. Meanwhile, Vice Admiral Nishant Ulugithanna, who is appointed as Navy Commander, met with Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees today.
The United National Party launched its manifesto for the forthcoming parliamentary election yesterday. The chief guest at the Sirikota party headquarters at Pitakote was UNP leader Ranil Wickremesinghe. The election manifesto was unveiled using digital technology. The UNP leader pointed out that the manifesto focuses on development of several fields based on economic development. Leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, noted that except for the incumbent ruling party, the United National Party is the only party that is contesting with the objective of running the government. He further noted that it is with the objective that the UNP places its manifesto before the people, commenting on the project to be launched as per the manifesto. UNP leader Ranil Wickremesinghe elaborated the new project will be implemented which include a mammoth investment promotional zone in Bingiriya together with Ruhunu Free Trade Zone, and if necessary investors from India, Japan and China will be encouraged. Meanwhile, a new party office of the Colombo West Electoral Division was inaugurated at Albert Place, Colombo 3 yesterday. UNP leader Ranil Wickremesinghe pointed out that the UNP have with itself many innovative programs and it is a must that they be implemented. He noted that it is only the United National Party that has the capacity to implement such objective programs as the party is contesting with the objective of forming a government. The UNP leader noted that the endeavour is challenged. However, they are not politically bankrupt since only alternative to rebuild the country is United National Party. UNP leader Ranil Wickremesinghe further stated that the party will not deceive the citizens and if further perusal of the manifesto is required, anyone can access the manifesto on the UNP website.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa engaged in a tour of the Ampara district today to support the election campaigns of candidates contesting under the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna at the forthcoming general election. Commencing the district tour, the President first arrived in the Padiyathalava area. Responding to a request put forward by the area residents, the President instructed the Secretary of the Ministry of Roadways Development to widen the roadway that runs through the Padiyathalava town to 4 traffic lanes.
අපේ මේ පදිය තලාවේ මේ මාවත් 4න් යන්න නැහැ කියලා ආරංචියක් තියෙනවා. මොකද දැන් මාවත් 4ක් යා යුතුයි පදිය තලාවට.
ඒකට වන්දි කියලා තියෙනවා.
මිස් ප්‍රේමසිරි වම් මේ ඉන්නේ පදිය තලාවේ. මේ ලේකම්තුමා කතා කරන ඉන්න ගම්වාසීන් කියනවා පදිය තලාවේ නගරේ තියෙන පාර නේ.
නගර සීමාව
ඒක අත්පත් කරගන්නකොට මේ වන්දි ගෙවලා තියෙනවා. හැබැයි දැන් මේ මන්තිරු 4 ඒක දෙක ගල්ලන්නේ. හතර කරලා හරි හරි
98ක්ම ජීවත් වෙන්නේ අහිංසක ඔව් මෙන්න ගෝජන්කාව නගා සිදුවෙන සඳහා ඔබතුමා මේ රටේ නායකත්වය දීලා තියෙනවා.
මූලික වශයෙන්ම ගෝවිතන්ට තමයි ප්‍රමුඛත්වය දීලා තියෙන්නේ. අපි දුන්නා සාතික මිල දීවල. ඒ සාතික මිල දුන්නයින් ගෝවිතන්ට ගොඩක් මුදල් එනවා. හැබැයි මේ සාතික මිල තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ දෙන්න ඕන. විවිධ භෝග වර්ග පිටරට වලින් ගෙන්නවා.
The President stated that plans are in place to provide 100,000 jobs after the election, as it is given in the vision of prosperity. The President also responded to a request put forward by the Economic Centre to be completed to sell the harvest of grain and other produce such as lime. The rally was attended by Dr. Tilak Rajapaksa. The President also joined in a rally organized by Kirti Shri Veerasinghe in the Mahawa area. At the rally, the President said that licenses will be issued for cultivations carried out without licenses in the traditional lands and lands of reserves. The drinking water issue faced by the residents was also brought up during the President's visit. Thereafter, the President joined in a rally organized in the premises of the Namal Oye Weekly Fair by former State Minister Shriyani Vijay Vikrama. At the rally, the President stated that advice has already been given to resolve issues faced by preschool teachers in many areas. The area residents attending the rally requested the President to implement a measure to direct unemployed women in the area towards self-employment. They also pointed out the need to reconstruct the Namal Oye tank. The President also participated in a rally organized by the Vimalavira Disanayaka at Ampara Urban Council Green Park and the rally organized by W.D. Veerasinghe in the premises of the Hingurana Weekly Fair. The President stated that steps will be taken to grant compensation for crop damages caused by the fall army worm and to stop unauthorized importation of ethanol. The residents expressed their pleasure at the resumption of the Hingurana sugar factory.
Sri Lanka joined international community in its call on Israel government to comply with international law and abandon the planned annexation and urges all parties to continue the dialogue towards peace. In a statement, the Foreign Relations Ministry said Sri Lanka reiterates the importance of the early implementation of the UN General Assembly resolution regarding the rights of the Palestinian people to statehood and the attainment of a two-state solution on the basis of the 1967 borders. The statement by Sri Lanka at the 44th session of Human Rights Council was made by Ms. Diane Mendis, acting permanent representative of Sri Lanka to United Nations in Geneva on 16 July 2020.
To work despite the continued lack of cooperation and solution and on the basis of internationally recognized norms.
Takes note of the report presented by the Special Rapporteur and associates itself with the statement of the non-aligned movement. We share the concerns raised by the Secretary General, the High Commissioner for Human Rights, the UN Special Committee to investigate Israeli practices, and the Special Rapporteur on the planned annexation by Israel, which would constitute a grave breach of international law, including the UN Charter, relevant conventions, as well as Security Council and General Assembly resolutions. Further, we note the concerns of the Special Rapporteur that this annexation plan would potentially have negative impacts on the human rights of Palestinians living in the occupied West Bank and the Jordan Valley and lead to forcible displacement. Madam Vice President, Sri Lanka has consistently and steadfastly held the principled position of the legitimate and inalienable right of the people of Palestine to statehood and to the natural resources in their territory. While recognizing the legitimate and sensitive security concerns of both the Palestinian and the Israeli people, Sri Lanka is of the view that the proposed annexation plan will only contribute to further deepening the crisis. In this context, Sri Lanka joins the international community in its call on the government of Israel to comply with international law and abandon the planned annexation, and urges all parties to continue the dialogue towards peace. In conclusion, Sri Lanka reiterates the importance of the early implementation of the UN General Assembly resolutions regarding the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people to statehood and the attainment of a two-state solution on the basis of the 1967 borders.
1967, the speakers list will close.
And coming back home, the government has taken steps to establish a national university for each district within the course of next year. Speaking at a media briefing held at the Department of Government Information today, Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said by 2021, every district in the country will be transformed into a district that has a national university. He further stated that feasibility studies have been completed regarding the Kalutara, Hambantota, Nuwara, Mullaitivu and Mathale areas. He added that on an average, they hope to enroll around 500 students for courses at these universities, including in the streams of information technology, biotechnology and engineering technology. Steps have been taken to construct the country's first biotechnology innovations park at Homagama. In addition, 330 technological colleges of education are also set to be initiated, covering all divisional secretariats island-wide.
The Mullaitivu police have arrested a close associate of currently imprisoned organized criminal Urujua while in possession of heroin. The raid was carried out in Godauda area in Mullaitivu last night. The suspect was also wanted in connection with theft for a three-wheeler in Himbutana area on the 14th of this month. In addition, the police stated that the suspect is also an accused in connection with killings caused by a shooting incident in Hangwala Police Division in 2018 and 2019. The Police Media Division states that the individual is also a suspect in connection with theft committed at a filling station in Paduka Police Division in 2015 and an incident at a car sale in Kaduval area. The 14 individuals who were arrested in connection with the incident of hurling stones at the Angulana police station were produced before the Moratuwa magistrate today after they were released upon two sureties of 100,000 rupees each. The arrest included 9 women. The police took steps to file legal action against them on charges of unnecessary crowding of people, injuries to government officers and damages.
And moving on with more related stories, the Consul General of Sri Lanka to Dubai and Northern Emirates continues to provide welfare assistance to the deprived Sri Lanka expatriates due to the hardships they are experiencing due to the exceptional consequences of the COVID-19 global pandemic. Well, in a bid to strengthen the efforts of the Consulate General Office, the Ministry of Foreign Relations in Colombo has provided 1,000 packs of dry rations and 800 packs of sanitary items to be distributed amongst the adversely affected Sri Lankan expatriates in the United Arab Emirates. National carrier Sri Lankan Airlines sponsored to deliver this cargo to Dubai on a cost-free basis.
Sri Lanka's permanent representative to the UN Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific region, Ambassador Samantha Jayasuriya, as the chair of the 7th Asia-Pacific Forum on Sustainable Development, called on high-level political forum on sustainable development for multi-stakeholder partnership in the post-COVID-19 period to preserve development gains and build forward. She made these remarks representing the outcomes of the Regional Economic Commissions to the high-level political forum, which is being conducted as a virtual meeting at the UN in New York under the auspices of Economic and Social Council. The high-level political forum is being held under the theme Accelerated Action and Transformative Pathways realizing the decade of action and deliver for sustainable development. Reiterating the comments expressed by the member states and major stakeholders at the 7th Asia-Pacific Forum on Sustainable Development, she said that the task towards achieving sustainable development goals and rebuilding after the COVID-19 crisis would require a change in mindset and research for new transformative ways of working, with prioritizing sustainability and places humans at center, leaving no one behind.
And with that, it's time to end the news. Do enjoy the rest of the programs. Take care and good night.
Good night.